name's Jamie, and we're gonna play some Generation Zero on the PlayStation 4. So, yeah, this is my very first live stream, and quite frankly, I don't even know if this is happening live anywhere, because it's a new YouTube channel, and they have their own restrictions, and it's good times. Good times. But I wonder if we can't get somebody else in here. Really, let's see if I start a party. Here we go. Alright. I'm glad I get to play on a because otherwise this could be a problem. The relentless pursuer. Okay. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Generation Zero is a first-person shooter that takes place in Sweden. And, essentially, giant robots have taken over the area, and it's our job as a bunch of unruly teens to gather supplies, perform missions, and get rid of the threats. So, good times. We have quite a few tools to do that. I'm quite a ways into the game already, so you have weapons that you pick up along the way, and weapons that you get for accomplishing quests, and all kinds of good stuff. Let's see. Different ammo types to use. I'll try to explain some of those as we go here. You also have modifiers for your weapons, which is interesting. For instance, like barrel extensions to speed up your round velocity as it comes out of the barrel. It just means more damage, basically. And we have magazine extensions, various different scopes, and an interesting little modifier for the scopes are these vision modules that will give you basically like infrared vision, like predator vision, a 3D version, as well as, or not 3D, I'm sorry, but a X-ray kind of vision, and a low light version that, I mean, it's night vision, but the other modes kind of trumped it, so I don't really use that one very much. And then the coolest thing that I've recently started collecting, which you'll see here in my inventory, are these experimental weapons. So the weapons typically come rated from a single star all the way up to 5. 5 being the best and 1 being a grubby weapon that you pick up. Really the only difference between them is that as you get higher tier weapons, they do a little bit more damage as you go. And aside from that, you've got a few different things here. I guess. I mean, it's not like anybody's watching me anyway. Okay, I'm recording right now, just so you know. But I just, yeah. Well, in any event, this was just a test, so I'm not going to get into too much detail here. Boy, it's going to be fun to see how all this works. I'd like to get on and make this a regular thing and come on during a specific time every day. Probably in the evening times would be my guess. I guess this is for anybody who's watching. I mean, this is just a raw test of trying this stuff out for the very first time. I've always liked to play games. I like movies. I mean, I like the same stuff everybody likes, I suppose. But I don't normally share these interests with the world, and it seemed like it well past the time to get on the bandwagon. I should have started doing this years ago. And at the same time, I have reservations too, as anybody would, because, I mean, does anybody want to sit here and watch me play video games? Does anybody want to hear my commentary on these things? I guess that'll remain to be seen. Aside from that, I mean, I'm just trying to have some fun here, do something a little bit different, and spice up the brand new round of quarantine that we look to be having. Oh, here we go. So, before I sign off of here, we'll show you guys a couple of the robots that we have to deal with. This one right here is called a harvester. And if I use one of the different modes on my binoculars, you can get... See, he kind of reminds me of like a big metal snow crab. I don't know why, but he just does, especially when he turns around and starts looking at you or walking toward you. Maybe it's just me. But you can use some of these different vision modes. Because I've found certain goodies within the game that will allow me to see the various different pieces as he turns and moves. As you can see, I can see the various different components, and these are all different spots that you can attack to weaken his armor and eventually put him down. Now, the Harvester is an interesting one. He is relatively lethal because if he spots me right now, you see these things on his back, he will shoot these long missile attacks that will home right in on me, and it's like a huge spray of them. It's a good time. The other reason he's a little dangerous is because he will kind of bunch himself up into a ball and sound an alarm that will draw, or I guess it will kind of call down another enemy type to come and protect him. The ones that come are called hunters, and you'll probably see this in action. They're kind of a mid-range enemy. They're easy enough to take down, but... Oh, there's one right there behind him, actually. Normally, these guys have a couple of guards. You'll see some different enemy types here. This is a Seeker. See, this is a prototype class Seeker. The different classes kind of dictate how difficult they are, how much damage they do, how much damage they'll take as well. So prototype is kind of the weakest of the classes, but what a Seeker does is it scans the areas and it will sound an alarm if it spots me, and that will draw the attention of other robots like this. This is the Hunter. These are the ones that generally go with the Harvesters. They will protect, but packs of these roam the landscapes and just basically hunt and destroy. They have some pretty devastating attacks, the worst of which I believe is this concussion rifle on the top. It's pretty much a railgun, and if he gets you with that, it's going to take the majority of your health. So in some instances, they can kill you too. So fun, but it's going to make for an interesting time. We're going to engage these guys here in a second, and I see this as a military class hunter. So being a military class, that's one step higher than the prototype. So he's not the toughest guy out there, but he's still going to be a little bit of a challenge. But with these new weapons I have, like this guy right here is my experimental Pist, and it puts out a devastating amount of ammunition. I have armor piercing in there right now. Aside from that, I'm also packing this experimental PVG-90. Now, what this is a 50 caliber sniper rifle. What makes this one experimental is that this is essentially a version of the railgun that I just showed you on one of these hunters. So it has penetrative capabilities, so if there were two hunters standing right here, I could shoot this one and the beam would go through into the next one behind it. So that's kind of fun, but it seems like it does a little bit more damage. I can fire it a little quicker than the regular PVG. The full name of that is the Panzerwaffengewehr, I believe, and I'm probably butchering that name. There are a lot of names in this game that I will absolutely butcher. So I'm sorry. If anybody Swedish ever watches this and wants to correct me, I welcome that correction, because I'm always curious about other languages and how things are actually said versus my interpretation of it with my Western upbringing. So anyway, I guess without further ado, we're going to figure out our battle plan for this guy. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these up. You see on the bottom right there for my triangle, it gives me the option to remote hack this guy. So what that'll do is it will cause him to just kind of start spraying his missiles absent-mindedly as he circles around, and that will give me a chance to get closer to him, as well as possibly damage some of the enemies around him, which he's kind of on his own at the moment. With certain perks, I can also get him to attack his other the other enemies. That's kind of interesting, but it doesn't proc often enough to really warrant holding it. So either way, let's see. We can distract them with certain items, like an emergency flare. Those are good. These ones will stick to surfaces if you throw them. Other things are fireworks. Fireworks are good distractions too, and a lot of times will cause the robots to knee-jerk just fire at where the fireworks are. EMP is always useful. EMP blasts will disable all electronics in a given area, and that one being medium size, it'll give me a reasonable range. The small and mediums are able to be thrown, whereas there is a large version that you have to set down. And one of the problems I have with this game is that when you set an item down, it can be very difficult to see that item on the ground from any kind of distance. Because from there, you have to set the large EMP down and then shoot it to activate it. Whereas with this guy here, I can just chuck this at him and we'll activate. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm going to take him out as fast as possible. Distract and his buddies. Done. Just took a shot. Okay, that's from these guys. They have some pretty high caliber rifles attached to their arms. It's kind of rough. They will kind of burn themselves out and blow up, but until then they chase after you and jump at you just like that. Okay. Making some progress here. That's what we care about. Ooh, that little notification you see at the top there. We have rival enemies to worry about as well. Those are kind of souped up versions of some of these different robots, and they're more or less the leaders of the robots in their area. If we look at the map here, it'll show all the rivals. That's marked by these. I can take a look at their profile, see what type they are, where they're from, and there's a nice process for leveling up these different regions on the map. Depending on how many rivals you have and your region levels, you can increase all of these. And if you get to 21, that will spawn the boss of the game. Oh, I'm at region, or level 22 in this region here. Actually, last night we just fought my boss, or the boss of the game. That is the Reaper, which is a new enemy type that came out. It's a tank, which there are tanks in this game, but this is kind of a special one. He does quite a bit of additional damage, and he has a hell of a health bar. So it takes a good bit to take him out, and he also has an AoE attack that is fairly devastating. Reminds me a little bit of Monster Hunter and some of their creatures. Not quite to that degree. It's easier to get away from than most of those attacks, but... Oh, what do we got here? Okay. Let's see if I can peg this guy from a bit of a distance. Yeah, good deal. Fun gun to use. So I guess the point of this game is really to survive. You need to open up safe areas, and like I said, there are missions you do. The missions are more or less go here, push a button, fight these enemies. You know, more of the same. It's honestly, it's not terribly innovative, but I enjoy it. It's fun crafting the different items you can craft in the game. Try to find all these various little knickknacks. I'm a scavenger in these kind of games anyway, so I like to go hunting and looking for all the little things, starting collections. One of the problems I have is because I do tend to hoard in games is that the inventory box space in this game is severely lacking. Would love to have a lot more space, but it's their game and they want us to have these limited amounts and limited capabilities, and that adds kind of to the horror of it, because you have to be careful what kind of resources you use and how you go about fights. Because it's real easy to burn up a lot of ammunition, and too many health packs and things like that, and then find yourself kind of in a jam. Right. Okay, so I'll show you one last weapon, or one last enemy type here. And aside from these little guys, the runners, ooh, we got a tree. This would be a battle right here. So, this is a tank. This one is a prototype class, so he shouldn't be too much trouble, really. But he's accompanied by some hunters and two harvesters. Oh, that one right there. That one is a rival. Now, I don't want to take him out because that will damage my level of this region. So, and if I do that, I might not be able to get another Reaper to spawn. And right now, the Reaper is a really fun fight, and it's a good way to get some of these higher level items, like these various guns that I've got. So I think right now, the only experimental weapon I'm still missing is the experimental sledgehammer. And so that'll be interesting. I mean, I know, right, a sledgehammer, who cares in an FPS, but that one reminds me a little bit of Mjolnir. It's got a cool look to it. I've looked up pictures online. And not only that, but it has some kind of an additional attack, which I imagine is some sort of a lightning or electricity attack, similar to the machine gun I've got here, which is the experimental KVM-59. That one will actually damage me if I'm too close to an enemy while I use it. So that's a bit of a drawback with that one, but it puts out a devastating amount of ammunition, especially if you have a good extended magazine. Now, I have a 3-star extended magazine, and that brings me to 170 rounds on that gun. This one, I have a gold 5-star magazine, and that will bring me to 18 rounds that I can carry in one mag, versus, I believe it's like 10 to start with. I'm not even positive anymore. It's been so long. I don't even think it's 10. It might only be 7. So I want to take out that tank, but I do not want to engage this rival. And that's going to be really tricky. Oh, hey there, true to the game. Hey, man, I'm glad you got the hammer. That's super cool. So, cards on the table, man, this is the very first game stream I've ever done, and just trying to give it a shot here. Figured Generation Zero is a good place to start. Got some new DLC that just came out, and I don't know if it's the most popular game in the world. It's got some beautiful lighting effects, though. I'm really interested in a lot of what they've done here. The robot designs are cool and menacing. The sound design is amazing. Like, they did a great job. And I know it's seen quite a few updates since its release, and even when I started playing it about a month ago, it had quite a few different bugs that seem to have been, a lot of them have been repaired in this most recent update. One of the downsides that I kind of, I guess I see it as a downside, is that they changed the stamina bar. So the stamina depletes very rapidly, so you can't really zip around quite as well as you could prior to the update. But my workaround was bunny hopping to gain my stamina back so I could keep moving at a reasonable speed while running. And when they changed the stamina, it kind of broke that for me. So, I don't want to fight that rival. At least don't want to kill him. That's a tough situation. I might not want to play this part. Boy, it's cool just watching these guys shuffle around though. I get so agitated so easily. Wonder if I can get this guy to do some damage. Oh, I should. That's the guy. Ah, man, honestly, I just got on here just to kind of test the live streaming a little bit. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. YouTube was yelling at me about needing to have an active channel for 24 hours before it would work. But obviously it's happening, so no, I was just going to get on here and fiddle around for a few minutes and kind of see what the quality was like when I was done. Because I know absolutely nothing about this. So I don't know, I might just fiddle with these guys for a minute and then probably just hop off of here, check some things and come back later and stream. I wish that hacking was a little more reliable. I get why it's not, but harvesters I tend to have the best shot at it. And they're definitely the most effective when it works. So I don't know, my goal here, I guess, is to take out all the enemies except the rival, but I'm gonna get bombarded as soon as I start shooting them. Ah, sweet. This could get painful for sure. Other thing I'm not so sure about, I quit using silencers in this game except on this pistol. And that's mostly just because the silencers don't seem to silence. Like I still tend to get everybody's attention even when things are silenced. And I've tested that on harvester actually. It was a few buildings away, deep in a town, and I took a pot shot at him with the sniper rifle. He was still able to zero in on me. Let's see if I can get him yet. Oh, there he goes. Switch. Do some weight. Burning up my adrenaline shots, I'll be out in no time. officer's hurt. I can see him flashing. Let's go. Not too bad. I can probably circle around and get that tank without agitating the rival. Man, not getting the kind of goodies I want. What do we have here? We have some runners over there. Yep. Okay, that's the other enemy type we haven't quite talked about yet. The runners, they're more of a pain in the butt than anything. They don't do a ton of damage, but a few of them together can put the hurt on you. The problem that I have with them is that, man, their aim is just so good. They can see you from anywhere. They do a great job of hiding in plain sight, so they'll just stand somewhere kind of behind the brush and shoot at you, standing perfectly still. It makes them a little tricky to spot. Later, I don't know, if I can get the Reaper to spawn, I'm probably gonna live stream that. That'll be fun. That's a good battle. Hopefully, probably have some friends on for that. One thing I can very rarely get to work is to hack the tanks. Even the prototype class ones, where you have the better shot, I still just don't. It doesn't quite work out. That's 77%. Looks like he is. These hunters will chase me to the end of time. Not sure how far I have to be out of range. How's this tick box? I can get him down to uh-oh. Longer in the party. I'm not sure what happened. They didn't lose the stream. Says I'm on the air. There, you gotta shoot me. Come on. There you are. Ah, okay. So have sufficient internet quality. My kids just got home from school. They're all online. That's why. Stuff like that, I guess I'm gonna have to get corrected. Still says I'm on the air. I guess I don't know if it's still working or not. gonna trot back to the safe house, wrap this one up, and just test things out. So far, so good, I think. For the most part. I know it already is. Alright, all in all, a successful test run. Appreciate you stopping in. Definitely appreciate the sub, man. Stay tuned. Hopefully I get some more content. A couple of people on here to chat with, so it's not just me yammering to myself. Otherwise, yeah, good times. Well, have a good day, and yeah, talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.